Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Please take your seats when you are ready. Let's try that again. Are we having mic issues? Good morning, everyone. Please take your seats. Our program will begin in 1 minute. Good morning, everyone. And good morning to everyone joining us on our live stream, whichever camera you're on, hello. Whether you are here in person or online, you are part of our community. Welcome to the Ethical Society of St. Louis. I'm James Croft. I am the leader of the Ethical Society of St. Louis. My pronouns are he and him, and we are here to be human together. So that our program is not interrupted, unless you are live tweeting this platform, which we encourage, please check to make sure your devices are turned off. To begin our gathering this morning, please welcome the Alton Jazz Confluence, who will perform our first musical selection, The Fuzz. Well, I think you can tell by the warmth of that applause that our audience really appreciates that fantastic music. Our theme this year is the future, and so we thought it appropriate to begin our programming year with some of the most talented young musicians in the region, because they are the future of music, so congratulations. Each week, we ask a young member of our community to read the core values of the Ethical Education for Youth program, and I'm very excited to say that we'll be doing that again today. Who is going to do it for us? Helen. I thought it was Helen, but I don't. Is Helen? Oh, there you are. Hey, Helen. Please welcome up Helen Schrenk, who's going to be doing our core values. Do you need a stool? No? Okay. Let me close this. There. And here they are.
Every person is important and unique. Every person deserves to be treated fairly and kindly. I can learn from everyone. I am a part of this earth. I cherish it and all the life upon it. I learn from the world around me by using my senses, mind, and feelings. I am a member of the world community, which depends on the cooperation of all people for peace and justice. I can learn from the past to build for the future. I am free to question. I'm free to choose what I believe. I accept responsibility for my choices and action. I strive to live my values.
Thank you, Helen. You did a fantastic job. I'm so happy we're back to doing that. Helen stepped in to read the core values many times while we were closed. The building was closed and we were on Zoom, and it's lovely to see you do that again in person. Thank you, Helen. Now we have a new part of our platform which we're beginning this year. Each week we are going to choose a story to read to our children. So please welcome Zoanne, our Ethical Education Director, who will read this week's story.
The Little Book of Little Activists, and this was put together for and by the Children's Defense Fund. Okay. Activism. Taking action in order to create social change. Anyone can be an activist. We need to make our generation a nicer one. If there's a mess, it's our job to fix it. Carson, age 11. I read about other marches, and I saw other kids marching to tell the bullies they were wrong. I thought, I could do that too. Xaviana, age 5.5. If you want to make a change in the world, go ahead. Nobody can stop you. Eden, age 9. Kids can do anything they set their minds to. You just have to keep speaking up, keep moving forward, and don't get discouraged if people don't take you seriously at first. Adults are harder to convince sometimes than kids. Mary, age 9. And I love this little kid's poster. We will not be silenced. Be active. If everyone starts fighting for what they believe in, we could change the world. Aria, age 9. And I dissent. I care about equality in our country because I want to fight for those who don't have a voice, and because I want to choose the kind of world I will inherit. Gabriella, age 13. Kids have a voice. We can change the world by taking a stand for our future. We can have shared dialogue and discussions about our ideals and learn to be respectful even when we hear something that we don't agree with. Gabriella, age 13. Don't be scared to say what you mean and share what you believe. If you do it kindly and respectfully, you can get your message across. Kennedy, age 11. And I definitely agree. I love naps, but I stay woke. Speak the truth, even if your voice shakes. Maddie, age 14. And our children are our future leaders, and they are the future. And, next slide, please. The future is bright. Thank you.
Thank you, Zoanne. That was lovely. Our children will now go downstairs for our ethical education activities. Just a reminder, in case you have kids or know someone with kids, that our ethical education program is up and running again in its full capacity, and we would love to meet your children. Now, we have another slightly changed element. The founder of the first ethical society had a saying which encapsulates so much of what we're trying to do here in this community. Act so as to bring out the best in others, and you will bring out the best in yourself. So to remind us of our responsibility to bring out the best in others, each week we will invite one of our members to tell a story from their personal experience about how they have tried to bring out the best in others, or others bring out the best in them. This morning, I am going to do it to model what it might look like. And when I think about the people who bring out the best in me, I think of the staff here at the Ethical Society of St. Louis. Some of you may not know this, but every platform we offer here, including everything that happens on Sunday, but also all our many programs throughout the week, are facilitated by an extremely dedicated team of almost all part-time staff. And each week we meet to think about how to bring you wonderful music like we're having this morning, inspiring and challenging presentations, and educational and social activities to help us learn and connect with each other. Because some of our staff are new, and because few of them are ever recognized formally on Sunday morning, I thought that I would introduce our staff to everyone, especially to those of you who are here for the first time. I know that after I introduce each one, you will be moved to applaud these fantastic people, but please hold your applause to the end, otherwise we'll never get through them all. So first, I want to introduce to you, there's my clicker. You've just met Zoanne McKinnon. She is our Ethical Education Director. She's been with us only a few months, and she has tons of exciting plans about how to rejuvenate our Sunday Ethical Education for Kids program, our Coming of Age program, and our youth group after its long closure. I'm incredibly excited to introduce to you for the first time Armando Bajolo, who is our new music director. He is here today. He provided that wonderful pre-platform music. He is visiting from Baltimore. He's currently in the process of moving here. I wish I could say it's just for us, but it's mainly for us. And I am very, very excited to have you here. Armando's sitting over there, and you can meet him afterwards. And I'm sure he'll be excited to say hello to you. Louise Jett is our social media manager and is also currently training to become an ethical culture leader like me. I don't know what possessed her to want to do that, but she's going to be fantastic, and we're lucky to have her. Laura Nottingham is our membership coordinator. She ran one of the events this morning, and she's been thinking up millions of ways to get new people in the building and to encourage them to join the Ethical Society, and you will have seen her out in the foyer after many of our Sunday morning programs. Also new today is Joe Kepke. He is our new facilities manager. He is full of enthusiasm for this community. He is so excited to meet you all, and he is also here today, and he will be happy to meet you afterward. And Jake, our AV and stream wizard, who is also the winner of the Most Awesome Photo Award. You will have seen him many times at the back, staffing the AV desk. If I look and sound at all acceptable, it is only because of him. Frankie Lowry is our Sunday superstar, here downstairs, setting up everything, making the coffee, making sure everything runs smoothly. So please make sure to say hello to Frankie. And finally, our mystery staff person, Nancy. Nancy has been with us for many years and refuses ever to take a photo with her face in it. She is not a public person, but she is essentially the reason why anything happens at the Ethical Society. She is the repository of all the institutional knowledge required to keep this place going. She is an integral part of our team, and if you come in on the office and say hello to her, please thank her for everything she does, because she does a huge amount. It has taken a while to find the right people for these posts and to put a full staff together. We're actually fully staffed now for the first time in many months, but I am confident that we found the right people. This is a staff who understands the mission of the Ethical Society, who are filled with ideas about how to improve the functioning and programs of the society. And they, through their enthusiasm and energy, constantly challenge me to be the best leader I can be. They bring out the best in me. They will inevitably, with their enthusiasm and new ideas, challenge some long-term assumptions about how things are done around here. And that's what I've charged them to do. So please, treat them well. Accept their new ideas with grace. You don't have to agree with them, but just give them a hearing. And when I'm gone, be good to them, because this is a wonderful staff, and I'm very proud of them. And I invite you to give them your enthusiastic welcome now. Yay! Thank you for being so kind. Now, I don't want to move on from this Elicit the Best without acknowledging another very important group of people who are here today who work very hard to bring out the best, especially in the children of our community. Stacy Zink-Duda, the new-ish director of the Ethical Society Nursery School, is here today, along with some of her teachers. And I'm extremely delighted that you've chosen to join us this morning. It has not always been the case that the Ethical Society and the Nursery School has worked as closely together as we might. So I hope that at the beginning of this new program year, and Stacy and her teacher's presence here will usher in a new era of cooperation. Stacy, can you wave so people can see where you are? This is Stacy. You can see all her staff. They are all wearing Ethical Society Nursery School t-shirts, and I'm considering making my staff wear Ethical Society clothes now. Don't worry, I won't do it. But you please say hello afterwards. They will be really delighted to make your acquaintance. If you would like to share your own story about bringing out the best in others, or others bringing out the best in you, then contact me or Andy Jackson, and we will place you on the schedule. Now, the Alton Jazz Confluence, who have been waiting so patiently, will perform our second piece of music, Strasbourg Saint-Denis. I don't think I said that right, but you'll perform it better than I said it. That was so amazing. Just seeing the communication between the performers was just fantastic. Thank you so much, and you'll be happy to hear that we have 2 more pieces of music at the end from the Alton Jazz Conference to hear. Before our main address, we like to take a moment to let go of extraneous thoughts and calm our minds and bodies. So now I invite you to sit comfortably and take several deep, slow breaths for 1 minute of mindful breathing. Thank you. Each year at the Ethical Society, we organize our programs around a theme. And our theme this year is Building an Ethical Future. And in September, we are exploring the future of communication, although my presentation this morning is more about the broad theme of building an ethical future. When I was a child, my family used to vacation in America frequently, or as we Brits would say, holiday in America. It is important in these days after the death of the Queen that you learn the British lingo so you understand all these news reports. So for vacation, we say holiday, okay? We used to go on holiday to the States, and my mother, as some of you know, because she spoke to us last year about this, she worked for British Airways, the airline, and so we used to be able to fly for cheap as long as we went standby. So we'd turn up the airport and we'd basically take any plane we could get to the United States and then drive to our ultimate destination, which was, more often than not, Disney World. Now, Disney World, as most of you know, is a network of theme parks. It's not just one. They have like 9 theme parks now, each with their own theme. You've got the Magic Kingdom, of course, which is the main theme park where Mickey is the king. I think he's the king. They have Cinderella's castle in the middle of it, so maybe she's the queen. Does anyone know the political arrangements of the Magic Kingdom? I don't know, but that's the main park. And then there's Disney's Hollywood Studios, which is the theme park all about movies. And now there's Animal Kingdom, which is a big safari park, basically. And they've got lots of water parks. But for me, my absolute favorite was always and is still today Epcot. That is the one with the big silver golf ball in the middle of it. Does anyone know what Epcot stands for? Oh, Lance, your hand went immediately up. So I have to ask you, what does it stand for? Yes, Experimental Prototype City Community of Tomorrow. You huge nerd, Lance. I can't believe you knew that. All us Disney fans know this. And the theme of this park is unusual because the theme is human achievement with a particular focus on the future. And one of the areas of Epcot is called Future World. And in it, you find all sorts of exhibits and rides that try to imagine what the future might be like. And as a kid, I loved them because I love science and new ideas. But imagining the future is very difficult, and it can be embarrassing. I vividly remember visiting the park some years ago, a good time after the advent of the iPhone, and I went on the Spaceship Earth ride, which is all about the future of communication. It takes you on a time machine that moves slowly through the big silver ball, and it goes through the history and future of human communication. It starts right at the development of the first human language. It shows you the invention of hieroglyphs, the advent of a common alphabet, all of these milestones in the history of communication. And as I was on this ride, everyone was filming it on their iPhones because it moves very slowly. So we were all kind of filming all the different exhibits. And then at the end, we come out into the present, where a man in his garage is building one of the first home computers, this massive thing. And then the voiceover says, in the future, humans will be able to communicate with anyone, anywhere, instantaneously, using devices they can carry with them. And all the people in the car look at their iPhones and look at each other and laugh, because the people at Disney World had correctly imagined what the future of communication would be, but not how quickly it would arrive. So the ride was very out of date already. Imagining the future is very hard. And in fact, the history of failed attempts to imagine the future is a long one, and many of them are amusing. Take, for instance, Waldemar Kempfert, the science editor of the New York Times, who wrote in 1950 about miracles you will see in the next 50 years. And here's one of those miracles. When Jane Dobson cleans her house, he wrote, she simply turns the hose on everything. Why not? Furniture, upholstery included, rugs, draperies, unscratchable floors, all are made of synthetic fiber or waterproof plastic. After the water has run down a drain in the middle of the floor, later concealed by a rug of synthetic fiber, Jane turns a blast of hot air on and dries out everything. It's a bit weird. Kempfert failed to imagine both how unpleasant a house furnished entirely out of plastic might be, and that anyone other than a woman might do the housework. Or there's the case of the 20th Century Fox executive Darryl Zanuck, who in 1946 predicted television won't be able to hold on to any market it captures after the first 6 months. People will soon get tired of staring at a plywood box every night. If only, right? Tell that to the almost 10 million people who tuned in 3 weeks ago to watch the premiere of the new Game of Thrones television show. One of my favorite failed attempts to predict the future is in fact a visual prediction from 442 magazine, which is a popular international magazine about soccer, about football. And it tried to predict in 1998 what famous footballer David Beckham would look like in 2020. And here is what they predicted. Yes. In fact, he actually looks rather better than that. It turns out that with enough money, you can basically stay young forever. So imagining the future is very hard. And so is imagining the moral future, imagining the ethical trajectory of a community, a city, a state, a nation. But it's important that we get good at it, because moral imagination is an essential part of making change. In order to change the world for the better, to build an ethical future, we must have some idea of what that future should look like. We must have an idea of what better than this would be, and some theory about how to move from where we are to where we'd like to be. And all great ethical leaders from history were moral visionaries, capable of imagining a better future. When Martin Luther King said, "I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character," he was projecting his moral vision out into the future, imagining a world which did not yet exist, does not yet exist, but which might exist. When Malala Yousafzai gave a speech at the United Nations on the occasion of her 16th birthday, that's some birthday, right? What would you like for your 16th birthday, Malala? I'd like to address the United Nations. Okay, but she did. And when she spoke there, she outlined a vision of the future. She called on world governments to protect the rights of children, saying we want schools and education for every child's bright future. We do not live now in a world in which every child has a free and compulsory education, but Malala envisions one, and that vision drives her life. When Sam Brinton, a friend of mine who I worked in Massachusetts with on LGBTQIA+ rights, who is now a Deputy Assistant Secretary in the Office of Nuclear Energy, shares their story of undergoing conversion therapy as a child, they do so because they envision a world in which no person is ever subject to that practice again. In one op-ed, they wrote, "We need to confront the stigma around conversion therapy head-on and work together through education and advocacy to relegate this fraud to the dustbin of history once and for all." So Sam, like the other moral visionaries I've talked about, imagines a future in which conversion therapy is part of history, not part of the present. And these are all examples of moral imagination, projecting possible ethical futures. And that art is central to making the world better. We cannot improve the world without directing our action towards some idea of what a better world looks like. And that's why we're going to practice exercising our moral imagination together this year at the Ethical Society. Each month, we're going to imagine what our future might look like in a given area, the opportunities and the dangers, and try and find an ethical way through. So this month, we'll be exploring the future of communication. I'm especially excited about next week, where celebrated columnist from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, Tony Messenger, will speak about how journalism is changing and affecting its ethical character. In October, we talk about the future of war, asking how might we avoid war in the future? Is war inevitable, or could it be eradicated? In November, my last month at the Society, it's okay, dry your eyes, it's fine, we will examine the future of humanism itself. How will the worldview which we try to promote at the Ethical Society evolve in the years and decades ahead? I'm very excited to say that Nadia Dutchin, the new chief executive of the American Humanist Association, will be joining us on November 13th, and she will be outlining her vision for the future of humanism nationally in the United States. In December, we think about the future of education, and on 4th of December, we'll have our annual Uganda Humanist Schools platform and hear about their plans for the future and the role that we might play in aiding them. We begin the new year in January talking about the future of money, so it is appropriate that our annual pledge drive will climax on the 29th of that month, and we can talk about the future of your money. In February, we talk about the future of the arts, and I know Armando, our new music director, is very excited about being creative with the presentations in that month. In March, we ask, what is the future of health? How long will we live? Will we be able to cure diseases that plague us today? What will our health look like in the future? In April, to coincide with our annual Earth Day celebration, we'll imagine the future of the Earth, with a lot of programs around environmental justice and climate change, which I know is a passion for a lot of our members. In May, we wonder about the future of food. What will and should we be eating in the future? In June, in Pride Month, appropriately, we consider the future of sex and gender. In July, we discuss the future of politics, and we are already pretty sure that the future of unions will be one of our topics, given the resurgence of unionization in many different parts of life across the country. And finally, in August, for our Members Speak Month, the month when we give the podium over to some of our members, we are going to ask them to talk about the future of this ethical society, to talk about their hopes and dreams for the future of this community. And if you'd like to share your views on that topic, contact me or our platform team, and we'll make sure that we put you in the list of people who are interested in speaking. Now, we are still in the early planning stages for most of the speakers for this year, but we are always interested to hear the ideas of our members and our guests, and to that end, we have come up with a new way that you can send in your ideas. If you have thoughts about platform, you want to say it was good, it was bad, you want something different, you like the music, you can send those thoughts to feedback@ethicalstl.org, and we promise to read and consider them, although we can't promise to reply necessarily to every single one. We don't know how many responses we're going to get, but that is a place where you can submit all your feedback about platform or about our other programs here at the Ethical Society. So moral imagination in all these different areas is at the center of our programming for the year. And it's also a part of our tradition. Ethical culture specifically, and humanism more generally, has always had its eyes fixed on the future. Felix Adler, the founder of the first ethical society, was moved to start communities like this one in part because of his concern for the future. In the talk that he gave on founding the first ethical society, he said, "The children, the heirs of all the great future, what shall we do for them? Do you not struggle and toil and trouble that you may leave them when you die some little store of earthly good, something to make their life easier perhaps than yours have been? That you may turn to your long sleep, knowing that your children shall not want bread?" The future calls upon us to prepare its way. Dare we fail to answer its solemn summons? Adler wrote in a very dramatic way, but he certainly thought we have deep moral responsibilities to the future. And while Adler was not fond of the term humanism, ethical societies like ours are now humanist communities deeply embedded within a national and international network of similar humanist organizations. And humanism, too, has always been especially concerned with the future. In fact, it was in part humanism's vision for the future of humanity which drew me to the worldview. I still remember reading for the first time the second Humanist Manifesto, and its thrilling vision for the future of humankind was what encouraged me to call myself a humanist for the first time. That manifesto, written in 1973, opens with this statement of purpose: "The next century can and should be a humanistic century. dramatic scientific, technological, and ever-accelerating social and political changes crowd our awareness. We have virtually conquered the planet, explored the moon, overcome the natural limits of travel and communication. We stand at the dawn of a new age, ready to move farther into space and perhaps inhabit other planets. Using technology wisely, we can control our environment, conquer poverty, markedly reduce disease, extend our lifespan, significantly modify our behavior, alter the course of human evolution and cultural development, unlock vast new powers, and provide humankind with unparalleled opportunity for achieving an abundant and meaningful life. It is very Epcot in a way. And the document continues in that same visionary mode, painting a picture of a free, just, and prosperous society in which all people have the ability to flourish. It imagines a global culture underpinned by respect for human rights, with a democratically responsive economy in which everyone has a voice and at least a guaranteed minimum income. In 1973, humanists were calling for a guaranteed minimum income. Exploitative political and economic relationships would be swept away, along with the nation state itself, to be replaced with a world community in which all sectors of the human family can participate. It commits humanists to a peaceful view, stating boldly, war is obsolete, and to cooperative planning to safeguard the earth and its environment. Now remember, predicting the future is hard, and there are certainly areas in which that older document now feels outdated. It was written in the 70s, and it doesn't sufficiently address structural injustices and how deeply they're embedded into our political systems. There's a fair amount to critique in it now, and as humanists, it's totally appropriate that we should do so. That's one of the privileges of being a humanist, after all. We get to tear apart our sacred texts. There are not many privileges associated with being part of our tradition, but that is one of them. But despite its flaws, I still find the Second Humanist Manifesto intoxicating. I like that it's bold, that it dares to dream about a better future for our species and make some suggestions as to how to get there. And this is what we'll be doing together at the Ethical Society of St. Louis this program year. We will dare to dream about our ethical future. We will find speakers who will challenge you to think differently about what the future holds, people with bold ideas about where we might go as humans together. When I was a child first visiting Epcot, I could not have imagined the sort of challenges our world faces today. First, because I was a child, but also because developing moral vision is difficult. But it's one of the reasons why we are here, to envision as a community a more ethical future. So I hope that you will join us this year at the Ethical Society of St. Louis as we begin together to build it. Thank you. Our ushers will now take up a collection to support the Society. If you are moved to make a donation today, we appreciate anything that you may be able to offer. We do rely on the generosity of our friends and members to keep providing our many free programs. And if you don't have cash with you today, well, luckily we have a QR code where you can just scan it and donate immediately. Or even better, you can think about becoming a pledging member to support the Society in a long-term way. If you are interested in joining the Ethical Society, our membership coordinator, Laura, will be available afterwards to answer any of your questions. We'd also love to keep you informed about future events at the Ethical Society of St. Louis, and for that purpose, we have a second QR code that you can scan to join our weekly newsletter, We will not spam you. We just send one newsletter a week telling you about all the wonderful opportunities for community and inspiration that we offer every single week. We do have a couple of important announcements today. Firstly, you are all invited to join us from 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. in the foyer, just there, for an art reception to welcome Joe Seltzer, who is the new artist exhibiting the wonderful paintings you can see in the halls outside. So when we're done here, take a look at the art, and please feel free to join us for the art reception. And secondly, you are invited to join our friends at the New York Society for Ethical Culture virtually, and your friends at the Ethical Society of St. Louis in person to watch a live stream of one of their events. It is called Strategies and Solutions to Save the Coolest Planet in the Universe, Up to Us 2022. This event is on Monday, September the 19th at 6 p.m. in the Hankey Room, which is the little room downstairs. Feel free to bring dinner. We will provide drinks. After the live stream, there will be a conversation about what we've heard, what we've learned, and how we might be inspired to act. The Climate Action Now team is one of our most enthusiastic and active teams in the society, and they're responsible for tons of great events about climate change and making sure that we have a livable climate for our descendants. So that event sounds really exciting. We will now have our final musical selections performed by the Alton Jazz Confluence. So please welcome them up. They will perform Frog on a Log and The Chicken. Wow, this is a rare honor. I haven't received a standing ovation from this crowd in years, so congratulations. Folks, thanks so much to Alex, Nick, Joseph, Spencer, William. You are all fantastic. I want to make sure you could see who all these wonderful performers were. Thank you so much for your music. We really appreciate it. And finally, thank you all for being here today, for each other and for yourselves. After this meeting, we invite you to continue your day with us. If you have questions about what you've heard today, I'm happy to stay here for about half an hour to listen to your questions. But if you'd prefer to eat donuts and cider, we have tons of donuts downstairs, so please go downstairs and eat some. I will not be sad if no one is here to ask me questions. Go downstairs, join people, have a good time with each other, and enjoy our fall festival. We hope that today's gathering helped you feel more connected to other people, gave you new and interesting ideas, and inspired you to think about the values which guide your life. So to end our program, I invite you to greet those on either side of you, and I wish you a very good week. Thank you.